Guys, this podcast is brought to you by our friends at Wrestling Collector Shop. Make sure when you need to add new figures to your FigFed lineup, you head over to WrestlingCollectorShop.com.
Started by collectors for collectors around the globe, Wrestling Collector Shop has been serving fans the latest and greatest in wrestling action figures since 2002. Whether you're looking for basics, elites, or ultimates, Wrestling Collector Shop should be your first stop the next time you're looking for wrestling figures.
So make sure to go to WrestlingCollectorShop.com and use promo code Swoggle to save yourself 10% on your entire order. That's WrestlingCollectorShop.com. Use promo code Swoggle and save yourself 10% on the newest and greatest wrestling figures out there.
That's more than 9%.
Guys, it's a state of affairs.
I hate it.
It's a state of affairs. I'm Dylan, one of the many, many co-hosts of this great pod. You might know me from the Going Postl podcast, from my riveting appearances on the Game Marks podcast, or you might even know me from my award-winning performance on E's Talk Soup.
Yes, you were on Talk Soup?
Yes, I was on Talk Soup. Joel McHale was the host.
Joel McHale was the host?
Joel McHale was the host. It was a WWE episode. Myself, Eve Torres, I think Kofi was on it. Miz was on it. I think Daniel Bryan might have been on it. Michael Cole was on it. JBL was on it, I think. Yeah, it was a whole WWE, like leading up to SummerSlam, I believe. Yeah, I've been on Talk Soup.
What did you do? You just talked?
I've been on Talk Soup. I don't remember what I did. I think the funny thing was,
shocking.
Like my
I don't
character.
remember what I did. I know I was there.
I think my character wasn't talking at the time, maybe, but I could talk on Talk Soup. One of the many things that I got upset at WWE.
I know
for.
I did something with The Rock. I don't really remember what. I'm sure it was fine.
And guys,
like most things in life, they're fine.
My shittily Captain Hatted friend, that's Joe.
That's right. I am the magistrate of Caravan City on Eternia, the man whose name He-Man knows. And he even punched me in the face about 2 years ago now. And this is a debate podcast.
That's your intro? That might have been the worst intro you've ever had. And I'm
sorry, Dylan. When did you get punched in the face by your hero?
I was on E's Talk Soup.
Oh, and Joel McHale punched you in the face?
I don't think he did. I don't remember what he did.
No, of course he probably did.
I think Joan and Melissa Rivers were on there. I think I might have. Did I do something with Joan Rivers?
Joan Rivers was a legend, man. She was the center square on Hollywood Squares. Love
every roast she did. Her appearances on Howard. We're both big Howard Stern people, and I loved her on Howard. He did her funeral, like the famous thing where he hosted her funeral. Did her not obituary, but what's it called at a funeral? You have dead parents.
Eulogy.
Can I say that? I don't know.
I am the Earl of eulogies at this point. Being on this podcast with you every 2 weeks is like a fucking eulogy, Dylan.
You're just getting stuff ready. Everyone, like, I always laugh about it because it's very dark to laugh at. But I laugh at. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on Going Postl. You know, the one where it's like heartfelt at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about like my funeral, and like, man, it's gonna be a line of people, and it's gonna be like end up being the roast of me in the 100%. End. But I can't it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
So about 15 years ago, I drew a picture for what I wanted my funeral to look like because I wanted to be a happy occasion. Like I want people to share the good stuff, but I also want like a giant canvas painting of me as a centaur next to my urn. Okay. And then around that, I want like the big horseshoe of flowers that you give the horse when he wins the Kentucky Derby. Like I want that big thing of flowers like around the painting of me as a centaur. Holding a bow and arrow, by the way. And looking jacked.
Guys, this is a state of affairs. It's a debate podcast where myself and my friend Joe debate topics in the genre of food, pop culture, movies, pro wrestling, and pretty much whatever our producer George picks that week.
And this week we got a good one, Dylan, but I'm man enough to admit when I have been bested. And though you didn't set any records.
You talked about your funeral just now. Last week was pretty much your funeral.
I talked about a bow and arrow in my painting as a centaur, but it's the audience who came at me with both bows and arrows after last episode, where Dylan has climbed back into a tie. After 9 rounds of play, it is now 4 wins for Dylan, 4 wins for me, and 1 tie. Dylan eked out a victory, 66% of the vote.
Guys, the midget heads won. The midget heads won this week, as they should have. It should have been maybe.
Is that what you call your fans, the midget heads? Is that what you said, the midget heads?
Yeah, possibly. It's what I'm
workshopping it.
I'm what? Workshopping. Yeah. I'm a comedy guy. I'm workshopping it. It might not.
I wouldn't call you a comedy guy.
I'm a stand-up guy and a stand-up guy. I'm workshopping it.
You're a comedy guy like I was a pro wrestler.
Guys, I won. It should have been more like 80-20. But let me say this. There were a lot of feedback on this one. And
I got lambasted.
I loved every bit of it.
Every
bit of it. And Shoes, I can't wait for when these reels to come out to see how you turn this around.
No, because here's the thing.
I can't wait for Fox Shoes to come out.
Will you shut up and let me explain myself? Because number one, I was shocked the voting was as close as it was. Based on how the comments were.
Shouldn't have been.
Because I got absolutely tattooed in comments and tweets and Instagram DMs that people feel the need to send me.
By the comments and the reposts on Twitter, it should have been like 95-5.
And then yet here I was with over a third of the vote. I'm going, you
guys got to vote. You got to vote. Rock the vote. For real. The poll goes up every Friday following that week's episode. You got to vote.
But here's the issue. Gotta vote. Here's the issue with our listening audience. I'm going to let you guys call me Dr. Shoes because I'm going to delve into your minds for a moment and tell you what you need to work on.
The analingus algorithm, they call them.
Sure. What you guys need to do is take a long, hard look at yourselves. Because when I said that Mankind was on the list for the worst villains, you all got hurt in the old butt. Butt hurt, as the kids say.
They just thought it was really stupid.
No, they got butt hurt.
Nope.
Because they don't want to believe that they could possibly have an ounce of evil in them, and they immediately turned on the talisman of truth. That's me.
They thought it was
as dumb as I did. The facilitator of facts,
as I did.
And they couldn't handle it. And I admit,
Dylan Postl,
you won a percentage because people get to vote, and everyone in this country is entitled to a vote. Everyone that listens to this podcast is entitled to a vote. That doesn't mean they're right.
But they were last episode. And in proof of that, from Twitter/X, at Shaggy of NYC, as a former Shoonie of the Week, it pains me to say that Dylan destroyed Joe this week. His list was just perfect. Joe, I'm sorry, but Mankind was too much of a reach. The neglect of Jafar was just outrageous. Dylan is the king of Disney knowledge. Dylan is the king of Disney knowledge. All hail King Dylan.
Dylan is the king of Disney from a 3-year time period, and the only reason Cruella de Vil fits in... Hold on, I'm talking here, you idiot. The only reason Cruella de Vil fits in that time period is because that's when he got the VHS copy for Christmas that year.
She killed puppies. You don't like it, do you son of a bitch?
It's
you didn't
my
like
argument.
it, did you? You didn't like it, did you? You didn't like it, Mr. Stone Cold. You didn't like it.
Well, I still found
I shoved it right up your ass. I felt it.
My
felt
arguments
so good.
I bested you in every argument there possibly was. I am the overlord of oration. If people were grading this like it's meant to be graded as a debate, you would have your ass spanked. I'd have your tiny little butt cheeks out over my knee and come down with the paddling every week.
No paddling. I won.
That's a paddling. Open your mouth. That's a paddling. Give bad takes. That's a paddling.
Whap, 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 whap. There's gonna
but
be
I
the
still
clip.
found.
That's the short of the week, I'm sure.
I still found some delightful commentary in these comments this week.
Let me guess. What did Justin Summers hate this week?
This actually isn't Justin Summers, but this comes from YouTube. Caltag Star 96, and he quotes me as saying, he quotes you as saying, why didn't you put humanity as number one on your list? And my response of, because the others have more name value. And he says, every single episode, Joe has a line that absolutely breaks Dylan and sends me into a fit of laughter. You never know when it'll come, but when it hits, it's fantastic.
What was it again?
But he says every single episode, Joe has a line that absolutely breaks Dylan and sends me into a fit of laughter. You never know when it'll come, but when it hits, it's fantastic. And then there was a reply to that comment by Mr. Let me see if I get this name right. Dylan Postl, who replied to Mr. Caltag Star 96 and said, he's just dumb.
I did say that. I did. I won shooting of the week.
So Dylan, I am making you the shoonie of the week.
I forgot I even replied that.
Guys, we do read your comments. Thank you very much for commenting, reacting, engaging with us. It's a lot of fun.
Oh my God.
And last week, thanks to our friends at Wrestling Collector Shop, we gave away a Rhea Ripley Elite figure, and that was in our Facebook page, Dylan, which is something we have. So remember to be following us across all social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram at AffairsPod or just State of Affairs Podcast on Facebook. Check that out. And of course, AffairsPod on TikTok. Blowing up on TikTok, Dylan. Blowing up.
I fucking hate it.
But this week, we are giving away, I'm a fan of this one, my doppelganger, as the people in Oshkosh, Wisconsin thought this past May, Elite Greatest Hits Typhoon.
I legit need that.
Do you really?
Yeah, I legitimately need that figure.
Well, you can't have it because we've already announced. Dylan, when I showed up to ACW Wisconsin for Swoggle Mania, I went to check into the hotel, dressed like I dress. And the gentleman behind the counter goes, do you mind if I ask you a question? I said, sure, go ahead. He goes, are you the one they call Typhoon? And I said, no, sir, I'm not.
I hate this so much.
I'll take it. And then the next day at the actual show itself, I went outside to get some fresh air. I was having a casual conversation with, maybe. I was having a casual conversation with referee Aaron. And a gentleman walks down the block and he stops. He's there with his son. And he goes, yo, hold up 1 second. I got to get a picture with my man right here. Yo, I've been a fan of yours for years. And in my head, I'm going, oh, that's cool. I've never really wrestled in Wisconsin all that much, but I've been around for a long time. So that's cool. And he goes, and he gives his kid the phone and he goes, man, get a picture of me and Typhoon. And I was like,
don't look anything like Typhoon. You look nothing like Typhoon.
Like,
Joe, how can
the
they win that
Typhoon
this
must
week?
have aged incredibly if they think he's me.
Oh my God.
So this week the Typhoon will be out there, but Dylan, Wrestling Collector Shop doesn't stop there. They've got some new goodies up for pre-order.
Some absolute exclusives. They're exclusive only to our friends over at Wrestling Collector Shop.
They talking two big rubber guys.
Two big rubber guys.
The Macho King, Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah.
Brand new mold for the Macho King.
Oh, yeah.
Ric Flair in his classic
Woo!
red trunks, boots, and knee pads.
Woo!
That's what he says. He says woo.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
And
of
course, the eighth wonder of the world, Major Bendy, Andre the Giant in
with
the
somebody
black
like a peanut
singlet. Anybody want a peanut? Have you seen that movie? That doesn't seem like
Not
a
a
movie
chance.
you would know.
Not a chance.
I watched it to impress a girl a few years back because it was like her favorite thing from childhood.
Ugh.
And when that line hits, I was like, that's it. Because it's like a throwaway at the end of a scene. And it's repeated so often. It's referenced so often that I thought it was like a big moment. And I remember I was just going, well, I'll be damned. But
Man.
yeah, 3
Guys,
new exclusives available for pre-order at Wrestling Collector Shop. Use code SWOGGLE to save 10%. They are limited as far as I know. I don't know to what.
Guys, I finally got my hands on a Big Rubber Guy. I've never been a Big Rubber Guy fan or an LJN. Jesus Christ. I've never been an LJN fan because Hasbro's are so much better. But
They're not.
I was so impressed by the weight, the size, the sculpt of these Big Rubber Guys. And then our good friend Mike Kanicki reached out to us and said, hey, do you know Dan Soder at all? And actually, Dan Soder has become a buddy through social media, comedian Dan Soder. And when he records his podcast, he always has a Macho Man LJN behind him. So Kanicki's like, you think he'd want a Big Rubber Guy? I reached out to him. I showed him the product, and he was mind blown by him. So if he's mind blown and he's an LJN fanatic, you will love these as well. Wrestling Collector Shop exclusive Macho Man with an exclusive mold. You got that 1992 Royal Rumble Ric Flair. And then, like Shoes said, you got that exclusive Major Bendy of Andre the Giant in his famous black singlet. You can't go wrong with these Wrestling Collector Shop exclusives.
It's any wrestling toy line where the legends of yesterday can also hang out with Dylan and myself is probably a fantastic toy line to collect.
I agree.
Dylan, we have so much going on. Leave your reviews. Thank you guys for listening. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please leave those reviews. And of course, please check out our Patreon if you'd like some bonus content over at patreon.com/PodXchange. We've got ad-free episodes. We've got access to the community Discord chat. We've got Landon, Postls, FigFed updates. We've got weekly episodes of Shoes Clues. We've got monthly episodes of Card Jomez. Dylan, the famous wrestling midget, doing monthly watch-alongs. And of course, your double main men hosting a little dinner party every month called Social Dinnering, where we get together with you guys and we chew the fat as we break some bread.
Guys, PodXchange, just the Discord alone is worth the price of the Patreon, the PodXchange Patreon. There's so much interaction in the Discord and just fun banter back and forth that it's really, really turned into a community already. So we'd love to have you a part of it. Patreon.com/PodXchange. That's PodXchange.
And we do have a last announcement that we should make, Dylan, because we have had the grand opening of our new store. So maybe you'd like to support the podcast, but maybe the Patreon's not for you, but you'd like to rep your favorite podcast host, then head over to podexchange.shop and get apparel and merchandise for all your favorite shows on the Pod Exchange. We're talking State of Affairs. We're talking Going Postl. We're talking the Game Marks or just Pod Exchange merch in general. I see a lot of people rocking those Captain Joe Shoes magnet heads on their automobiles now. It looks classy.
It's exclusive merch only available on the Pod Exchange shop. Check it out right now.
So, Dylan, we've got a new full episode producer George has set us up with. This week, we are debating pizza toppings, cheeses, etc. We are going to get into all of that, but there's one thing we got to do before we do that. One thing.
Ad break. You know, Joe, you went first last episode. Now, it's my turn. We're going to debate pizza styles, pizza toppings, everything involved with pizza. And I am going to come out. I'm going to come out ahead of this episode just like I did last week. Because you know what makes pizza great, Joe?
Being in New York. That's what it does.
The cheese and the sauce. That's all you need for great pizza. Is cheese.
Oh, this is your vanilla ice cream argument just being recycled for pizza now, you idiot.
And sauce. Maybe sausage. You don't need black olive. Disgusting. You don't need mushrooms. Absolutely. Mushrooms are like a phobia food of mine. They give me the willies. You don't need any of it.
And maybe that explains your height, because if you had ate a mushroom, you would have grown double the size.
Like Mario, I'm sure you'll say.
Exactly.
Which is incorrect. But
that documentary footage.
The only thing that you need for pizza is cheese and sauce.
No dough?
Obviously fucking dough, you dipshit.
But you didn't include it.
So, I'm going to throw this out there right away. This was supposed to be a battle of toppings. I don't need toppings for my pizza. The only pizza that should be sold nationwide, worldwide, is Chicago deep dish. That's the only pizza. That's the only pizza that counts. The only pizza that counts is Chicago deep dish pizza. Sure, you have Domino's, which is amazing. You have Papa John's, which is a close second. Chicago deep dish for fast food pizza. It's Domino's and then Papa John's. But on top of that mountain, the tippy top of Mount Everest is the delicious Chicago deep dish. And the reason I say that, Joe, is what's better than some pizza? More pizza.
Dylan, I grew up in New York.
I'm sorry.
And though I don't claim New York as my hometown,
thank God,
anymore, the one thing that New York can claim is terrific pizza. And even saying that Chicago deep dish is pizza is an insult, because it's not. It's a bread bowl. It's soup. And you know what?
You don't eat it. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a bowl of pizza thrown in. And you know what? I don't want to go to Panera Bread. I hate Panera Bread. And that's what deep dish is. It's fucking terrible. It has its place, but to call it pizza, to put it up there as the great pizza, I don't understand what world you people live in, because it's not. Pizza is meant to be long. It's meant to be folded, unless it's cut into squares in Sicilian or grandma style slices. That's just the end of it. Having it in a bowl and having deep dish where all this slop fucking immediately comes off is not pizza.
Hold on. No, now you hold your ass.
Good, I will hold my ass.
You stop. You just said slop. Your pizza, the minute you hold it, it flops, and there goes the cheese, and there goes the toppings, because it's overly greasy bullshit. Everyone says, oh, you fooled the pizza. No, you shouldn't have to keep everything in there, because your pizza, you eat it over a plate on the street like a peasant. That's what you're doing. You're eating this pizza like over just on the disgusting streets of New York. You know why? So you can drop it, and it doesn't hurt the streets any more than they're already hurt. It doesn't. What you're doing is you're dropping toppings off the pizza because everything is sliding off. You ever cut one of your quote-unquote pies? No. With toppings on it, you can't, because you pull everything to the piece. You're pulling it out. That's what happens. Now, Chicago style cracker crust.
Now I get fucking spoonfuls of cheese sauce. Just 1940. Here we go.
In 1943, a Pizzeria Uno in Chicago, Ike Savell and Richard Ricardo invented the delight that is deep dish pizza. The cracker crust came just years later. There is nothing better than a cracker crust for pizza. It doesn't fold. It doesn't flop. Now, most people eat it with a fork and knife. I don't. I pick it up like a piece of pie. Same as pie. Pie, disgusting. But this is incredible. You pick it up with your hand like a piece of pie.
Pie is disgusting, but this is the kind of stuff you don't mind getting all over your stubby little fingers?
I hate pie. Cake versus pie, cake all day. Pie is disgusting.
Well, I would say I would agree with you, but what kind of cake?
Funfetti, number one. All day, every day.
Okay, over what kind of pie?
Everything.
Any pie. What if it was chocolate pudding pie?
Chocolate pudding pie.
Chocolate pudding pie is fucking good.
Correct, but it's more to me. That's more of a cake because there's no top layer.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's also interesting how much better Chicago deep dish is than your shithole Sbarro.
It's
than your
really
shithole
not.
Sbarro pizza.
See, but
Guys,
this is because
you can't
grew
get
up in a
anything
town
on yours. You can't
where
get
didn't
anything.
have any
You know what
fucking
comes
pizza.
on your pizza? You know what comes on your pizza? You go to one of your pizzerias, and you know what it comes on it? It's always margarita. First off, that's not even spelled correctly out in New York. It's not even spelled correctly. It's not. And why are we calling it margarita when all it is tomato pieces? Just call it tomato pieces on the pizza. That's all this is. It's no different than a cheese pizza besides tomato pieces, which is disgusting. If you get pepperoni on a New York style pizza, you are going to get underdone pepperoni, first off. Secondly,
No.
you take that piece. Yes,
No.
100%. Because New York, the pizzas are never done. They're never done. They're always floppy and soft and underbaked. I've never had a piece of New York pizza that hasn't went like that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's pizza. That's what pizza is. There's gonna be some flaw. Even if you have a nice
Domino's
crust.
is pizza.
Don't you dare.
What's
Don't
the
you
second
no,
word?
No.
What's the second word in Domino's pizza?
No,
pizza.
Number
and it's
one.
delicious.
No, number one, Domino's pizza doesn't exist. It's just Domino's straight up now. So get that out of your fucking head. It's just Domino's. They changed the company name. It's like Burlington Coat Factory is no longer Burlington Coat Factory because they're more than great coats. So it's just Domino's. But you cannot put that on the same level as real pizza. This is the Michael Scott argument.
I'm not putting it on the same level. I'm putting Domino's above your bullshit. You have
Stop
New
it.
York
Stop it.
compared to Chicago is Little Caesars compared to Domino's.
It's not even the same food. It's not the same food group. It's just a bowl. It's like someone mixed
It's not
it
a bowl. It's not a bowl, you asshole. It's made in a pan. In a pan.
It's a bread bowl. If I want that, I will.
It's
I will
a thin
go.
cracker crust, Joe, with thicker toppings or with more shit.
It's
Again,
not pizza.
you are wrong.
It's not pizza.
You're wrong. It has an out. It is. The only reason I love Chicago. I hate Chicago. It's too big, too hustle bustle. I love Chicago. Bogger asks me to bring him back, Lou Malnati's, when I come back from Chicago every time. Every time. Because it is delicious. The only thing I like about Chicago, number one, is the pizza. It is delicious. It is a highlight. You cannot argue that I'm nope. Go ahead.
I did argue. It's
what's stupid.
No, you're stupid because you think it's the same and it's not. And growing up in a place where I've had so many options of people who made great pizza, or if you want a great Sicilian slice, you can go to a different place.
Okay, explain to me. This is not me being a dickhead. Explain to me what a Sicilian slice is.
A Sicilian slice is a square or rectangle cut with a thicker crust.
Okay. That's more of like the Detroit style, correct?
So Detroit style was not something I knew because I look at Detroit as like one of these cities like no one should care about. And
I think Detroit is like Rocky Rococo's, which I fucking love.
So I always assumed when people said Detroit style pizza, I said, what does that mean? Is that just Little Caesars? Because that's their home base. But from what I am told and from what I have found out, and this is only in the past couple of years or whatever, but I guess the difference is it's the sauce on top, right? Is a
Correct.
Which I would call a grandma's slice. That's what we call grandma slices in New York.
A what?
A grandma slice.
So there's, but
it would be a Sicilian slice of pizza, but with the sauce on top, we call that grandma pizza.
You guys,
I never heard.
You guys
of
are just
Detroit
silly.
Style.
You guys are just silly with the things you say. Honestly, this shit, like, you just make words up to be out there. Yeah, this is real.
I mean, that's what we call it.
I've never heard that in my life. Grandma slice.
But this is like when I say mozzarella, it's not
It's
like
dumb. It's dumb.
there's
and
an entire region of the country that pronounces it like that.
There is one state that does that. One state that does that, Joe. And you know it. You cannot. You cannot. Cannot.
God forbid I ever like say, what the fuck is the real ricotta?
Yeah,
oh my
or
God.
mozzarella. Or mozzarella. Like it's fucking spelled in the dictionary.
Like some of you people who like went nuts when I said mozzarella on whatever episode that was. Like, if you would hear me say, like, so I worked at a deli, a Jimmy John's deli. You're gonna enjoy this story. And I get a job there. I'm doing deliveries, and they have a sandwich on the wall, and it says one of the ingredients is Capicola. And I looked at that.
You said,
and I said,
"Oh, I know what you're gonna say. And it's gonna piss me off."
I looked at that. And I said, "What is Capicola? I've never heard of Capicola in my life." And I think at the time I was like 23. And
don't do it.
The guy looks at me and he goes, "What do you mean? Aren't you from New York?" I said, "Yeah, I'm from New York." He goes, "And you've never heard of Capicola?" "Never heard of Capicola." "And you're Italian?" "Yeah, never heard of Capicola." And he's just like looking at me because I think he was originally from Michigan or whatever. And I had to call my mom after I got out of work and be like, "Have you ever heard of Capicola?" And she goes, "Oh, that's that fucking shit." He's like, "When we go and order, it's just gabagool." And
I knew it. Oh. I knew it. 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 I knew it.
I've heard of that.
I knew
I've
it.
never heard
That's
of
not a fucking word. Same as prosciutto. I fell in love with prosciutto on the Jericho cruise. I had prosciutto. Joe, it's in the video diary. I had prosciutto for every meal.
I know. I got all the pictures.
I fell in love with it. And I love her. My roommate of sorts, Liz Myers. She would just go, "Oh, prosciutto." I go, "That's not what it's no. Why do you make up words? Why do you just change words? It's not, and don't say it's regional. It's one state. It's not the whole Northeast.
It is regional, though.
Boston isn't saying that. Maine isn't saying that.
No, but like every region has their own dialect in essence. And when
bubbler.
you go to
one, ours is bubbler.
Yeah, like you say bubbler, which I thought was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire. When your little boy said bubbler to me.
Yeah.
And I said, I was going to go, I'm going over there to fill up my water bottle. He goes, "Oh, there's a bubbler over there?" And I was like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I needed like a full on explanation. I have never in my life heard of the word bubbler used to be in reference to a water fountain.
A water fountain, because a water fountain is the decoration thing. You know, like at a park.
Yeah, it's just a fountain.
That's what.
Like, why do you guys make up words? we have perfectly good words.
I understand that. No, I understand that. I understand that completely. But we're not like just shortening words. Like, you're shortening words. You're completely just taking a word and changing letters of it.
You don't think of it when you're, and it's the same thing. Like if you ever taken a language in school or whatever, depending on who's teaching you, might depend on the dialect. Like how many people speak Spanish that speak a different dialect of Spanish? Because
La Bata de Baño.
Sure. But depending on where they grew up, depends on the dialect. The same thing when I was in Italy, there's a different version, usage of the language that people in Sicily use compared to the people in northern Italy. This is stuff that exists. And of course, in a country as big as the United States, which a significant portion of the world could fit into, there's going to be these things. So it's just what you grew up with. And you're always going to think it's right because that's what you know.
You know what is the most right, though?
Me. Because Chicago pizza
style
is not pizza.
Better than New York style pizza.
So
guys,
I just look. Is there bad New York pizza? 100%. There are places.
There is way. Let me pause you there.
Okay,
I'm glad you brought this up, and I'm gonna pause you there. I have to, because otherwise I'll forget. Because vodka and concussions. There is way worse New York pizza than there is worse Chicago style. Chicago style is a style, but New York style is just bullshit to me. It's just shitty pizza.
But see, now you're ruining your own argument because you're saying Chicago style is a style and New York is not a style. New York is a style, and there is bad Chicago pizza. The fact is, if I'm going to have Chicago style pizza, and you're whether you know this or not, you're going to be the same way. You're not going to some hole in the wall that you happen to be walking by. Are you? For Chicago style pizza. When you're in Chicago and you're coming home with Illuminati's for.
If there's an but hold on. There's an asterisk there. There is an asterisk there. Oh man, and then you got me going. Here we go. Going to a Chicago pizzeria. Going to just a Chicago pizza shop for deep dish is an experience. You can't just go in and get a slice and go out. You're going in for dinner, for lunch. It's going to take a while because they're making it fresh. It's going to take 20, 45 minutes. It's going to take a bit because it's fresh, made for you. So you're going to have a couple drinks. You're going to have some bread. You're going to just enjoy the meal. It's not just going to whatever shitty food truck is serving pizza and just throwing slices at rats at the end of the day. It's not that. That's what New York is. It's all the same to me. All New York pizza is the same to me.
See, if it can't be the same to you, because then you're done and you don't have a sense of taste. There is bad New York pizza. I agree with that.
Yeah, there called Sbarro.
But even Sbarro, you're not looking at as an authentic New York pizza place.
Michael Scott did.
Michael Scott did because he was from Oshkosh, Pennsylvania. And listen, sometimes a slice of Sbarro, sure, you're in the shopping mall, you're walking by, you get a slush. Look, am I going to enjoy it? No, but does it, it's a piece of pizza. And
I literally just went there last week. I said, I haven't had this since high school. So 20 years. And I go, I wonder if it's gotten better. Let me tell you, I got through a half a slice of New York style Sbarro pizza, and I couldn't eat the rest. And it wasn't because of the Wegovy. It made me physically ill. It was so gross. It was just disgusting. Even for mall, it made me mad that I didn't go to Panda Express or Rocky Rococo. I should have went to Rocky's. I should have.
Now, when I was a kid, and when I say kid, I want to say maybe 9 or 10 years old. And that's kind of when I first remember seeing Sbarro start to sprout up in shopping malls and stuff. And to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. You get Sbarro pizza at the shopping mall. This is great.
And it was cheap for a huge slice.
Well, I mean, I don't really remember price because I didn't have money of my own at that time. You know what I mean? But I remember begging my mom, hey, could we go to Sbarro? And she was like, no, we'll get real pizza, when we get out of here.
Same shit.
Doesn't make sense to me back then. Now I understand the difference because living in Florida for as long as I do now, finding a good slice of pizza is like finding a fucking unicorn.
Do you guys have Illuminati? Do you guys have Illuminatis or Genos or anything? Giordano's?
No, I would say I'm 99% sure we do not have Illuminatis. As far as a
Giordano's, maybe.
The best pizza I have found.
I'm saying for Chicago style. I'm saying
for Chicago. I used to work at a pizzeria Uno's, so we have.
Oh yeah, okay, great.
But like, that's once again, to me, that's like the Applebee's of
you. Oh, now you went too far.
Like, I understand you want to say Illuminati's is the gold standard of Chicago style pizza, then going to Pizzeria Uno's is like going to Chili's.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Hold on. I apologize. I flipped out. I thought you were saying Chicago style in general is the Applebee's of pizza. And
no. I'm saying
I got real mad.
I'm saying Pizzeria Uno's is the Applebee's of Chicago style pizza.
I apologize. Hey.
And there's room for that, right? There's room for that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And there are things at Pizzeria Uno's that I like, those pizza skins, like the potato skins. I think that's a phenomenal appetizer.
Nope.
I think the chicken spinacoli is a good entree.
The what?
Chicken spinacoli. It's like a rolled up chicken kind of stuffed with broccoli and cheese.
Oh, nope. That's gross.
I got to get my greens in me, like this body's a temple.
And this is what's going to hurt me in this voting.
What, my fist?
In this,
that'll hurt you.
I feel more people, especially listeners of this podcast, have had New York style more than Chicago style, or have had more of a regular pizza that they consider New York style compared to the Chicago style deep dish. I feel that might hurt me here. There is, let's talk about this, Joe. I have had Chicago deep dish delivered to the hotel, eaten a couple slices or pieces that night.
I guess your whole sit down experience don't mean shit then when you're just getting it on Uber Eats.
When I'm on the road and I just want to order it in to the hotel, yeah, I do that because I have to Uber 2 places.
But what happened to sitting down, having some bread with your friends?
When I'm on the road alone, I'm not going to go with me and my friends because I don't have any at that time.
You don't have one of the job guys come drive you around?
I go right to the hotel. You know me by now. I go right to the hotel. So I order
Dylan
Chicago
don't hang out with me on the road.
No, I order Chicago deep dish. Let me tell you this, Joe. The next morning, cold Chicago deep dish is incredible. You ain't saying that about your New York.
Yes,
you ain't doing that because it's even greasier and even crappier and even floppier.
So I will say up front, I have never had cold deep dish pizza.
Cold pizza does suck. Anyone that says they like cold pizza is lying.
Now,
but this is good.
I will say, I am definitely in pro hot. Cold should not be really that much of an option, but there is a place for being hungover and wandering over to your fridge and not wanting to deal with the world. Maybe you're putting off brushing your teeth for like an extra hour and you walk in and you see 3 slices of pizza in a box and it's cold.
Oh, see, that's if you have a microwave, it should always be microwaved. Always. I'm in a hotel sometimes with no microwave.
Oh, I'm saying there is a place for cold pizza, and there are plenty of people who love cold pizza day after pizza. Yeah,
they're psychopaths.
Not my first choice, but I see a place for it. And there is, when I am in that state, I've had a rough night out, sailing the high seas with my professional buddy.
It takes 30 seconds to microwave.
41 is my typical.
On level 7.
My microwave only has 5 levels.
Joe, You need a new damn microwave. Stop with these fucking captains.
I'm a renter. I don't have say over the appliances.
You're getting paid for bendies. You're getting paid for another fucking bendy. That better go to a new goddamn microwave.
I mean, we'll still see if I get paid for it. That's to be.
Oh, Joe, what would be?
Go ahead. I was gonna say, like, I let me say this: there is such a thing as bad New York pizza, but when you have primo, top of the line, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty, like, especially, and I'm gonna say this: this is completely biased now. Where I grew up was over by JFK Airport in the Ozone Park, Howard Beach area. You've seen it in all the movies. Like the movie Goodfellas, the book that movie is based on is my neighborhood. I am spoiled when it comes to quality Italian style food. There are plenty of good pizzerias, real good pizzerias in my area of Queens that I grew up in. There are still places that people go and people wait online. DeFara's Pizza in Brooklyn, Ray's Pizza in the city. Those are like tourist places where people go because they are so highly regarded. And every now and then, and not so much anymore when I'm visiting because I don't want to use that much time of my visit on getting pizza at these. They're not tourist traps. They're just the places people go because they're so talked about. But every now and then when I would go with a couple of friends, you know what? Let's make the trip today. Let's go get DeFara's Pizza. And you used to watch that old man, God rest his soul, who's not with us anymore. But he used to be there 70-something years old and his fingers still kneading the dough and putting each pizza together by hand himself. My goodness, that thing was epic. And it was part of the experience as well. Like you said, going down to sit and have a meal with your deep dish pizza, watching that old man go to work like a craftsman. What perfection would come from those magical hands. And as someone who knows plenty about making magic with his hands, I can appreciate that on just a new level. And when you have that next level of food, because you can get a steak anywhere in the world, Dylan, but when you have a great steak, you leave there going, my God, that was a pretty incredible steak. And that is the kind of feeling you get when you would go to a top tier New York pizza. And I have never, ever gotten that feeling from a Chicago style pizza.
The only thing I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, is what I opened this argument with. What is better than a little bit of pizza? Some more pizza. That's what Chicago style deep dish brings you. More pizza. More toppings, more cheese, more sauce, more love. We all want more love. That's what Chicago style deep dish is. Lovely.
Now, the topic of this show was supposed to be.
I know.
Topics.
George is going to be. George, I'm sorry. Sorry. We knew it was going to happen.
Because I want to get this on the record.
Right.
And Dylan, you've caused enough people to vote against you this week by opening your mouth again. And I'm gonna return the favor and do the same myself. If you are the type of person who puts any kind of fruits and or vegetables on your pizza, kick rocks.
Well, first off, the pineapple on pizza.
Pineapple?
Argument,
no.
I love it. I actually enjoy it.
Then you're an idiot. Then you're an idiot.
It's cool. Okay, let me guess. You hate Creed and you hate Nickelback too, because that's the fucking cool thing.
I love Creed.
Guys, let's stop hating pineapple on pizza. It's delicious. It brings a sweet to the savory. It's awesome.
No.
It is awesome. I'm not saying pile it up with a whole goddamn pineapple. A couple pieces here and there is delicious.
Cheeses and or pasta in certain situations.
And
you want a lasagna pizza?
I love
You want a big
pie.
ziti pizza?
I love spaghetti pizza. Love it. Cleveland, I love you because of your spaghetti pizza even more. So, but also pepperoni has to be overdone. Otherwise it comes off and it's a grease cup. I don't care. Sausage is by far the best pizza topping. By far.
I will say, will I have a pepperoni slice? Sure. Will it be my first selection? No. If you put out options, a table full of options for me to dig into. You said pick one. Depending on the type of sausage, you go and you get like, if you're getting New York style pizza and you get that nice thick cut Italian sausage and
Don't like
nice,
it. Don't like
good.
It. Don't
Then
like
yes, give me that all day. In certain situations, depending on the place I'm ordering from, if they make a good meatball on the pizza,
I like that.
Ooh, that could be great too. You know what I got into while I was in college? We had a Gino's Pizza across from my school, and they used to make a buffalo wing pizza.
Yep.
And that I thought was phenomenal. But anyone who puts onions and peppers,
Yuck.
olives, pineapple,
Yep.
the tomato slices, like you say.
Stupid. Oh,
get it out.
The famous margarita New York slice. Yep.
I'm not a margarita person.
That's the fucking New York main pizza.
No, it's not.
It's a margarita.
No, it's not.
You're wrong.
It's
just wrong.
It's not the main New York pizza is a traditional slice, a regular triangle.
Joe.
But you made the statement earlier that Domino's is great.
It's amazing.
And I understand, and don't get me wrong, I am susceptible to the quickness of Domino's myself.
It's delicious. Authentic. Also, even on top of it, we're just talking pizza. Domino's in general with the authentic chicken parm, incredible.
Stop it.
Incredible.
Garbage. No.
It's incredible.
If you are
let's go back to the pizza.
No. Hold on. If you're ordering Domino's, I can understand. I can. I genuinely can understand. Yep. If you're ordering a sandwich from Domino's,
it's awesome.
Stop.
It's awesome.
Go to your bathroom, look at yourself in the mirror.
Yep.
And put your hands down on the sink. Take your glasses off.
I don't have glasses.
Look right into that camera and say, "Oh my God, what am I doing to myself? What am I doing for myself?" Because you are at the point where you need to reevaluate the choices you have made in your life. If you are ordering a hero sandwich of any kind from Domino's Pizza, the tide has turned on your life. Message me so I can help you get back on track and find true meaning again, because you have lost it.
Do me a favor for the rest of the episode. Leave your glasses off, please.
Why?
Just for the rest of the episode. Finish the episode with your glasses off, buddy.
My lights are way too bright.
Oh, that's why.
Legitimately. That's one of the biggest reasons I always keep the glasses on. Because I like having them on. It's just like part of the shtick. But the lighting in my apartment is very, very poor. So I had to buy these two like stand-up studio lamps that I have just in the middle of my living room, because I have no light otherwise, and it make it look like I'm coming in 1940s Lou Thez definition.
Going back to your point, Domino's is top tier delivery pizza.
So out of the trash pizzas, and I'll say trash pizza as Domino's, Little Caesars, Papa John's, the fast food style chain pizzas.
Pizza Hut has lost it for me. Domino's,
I will agree with you there, because I'll tell you what, when I was a kid, I thought Pizza Hut was the bee's knees. I thought those breadsticks were incredible. There was nothing like getting a personal pan pizza if you read your books. Did you have to do the book it?
Book it.
There was nothing. I got a button right there on my TV, my book it button, because I remember going to see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and then my mom picking us up from the movies and taking us to old Pizza Hut to cash in our certificates with our book it. And what a time that was.
Domino's 1, Papa John's 2. I love Papa John's, has that sweet sauce. Also, Papa John's is the best stuffed crust in the game of all time. And then I'd go Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut was the innovator of the stuffed crust, right? We all know this.
They lost it to Papa John's.
Papa John's has come out and blown it out of the water. I agree with you there. I really do.
My son likes Little Caesars, and I debate selling my son.
Between that and the use of the word bubbler, I would have gotten rid of him years ago.
Yeah.
Little Caesars to me is the trashiest of the trash pizzas.
If you order Little Caesars, that's a reevaluation.
It's unless you are on such a time crunch where all you're getting is that hot and fresh $5 and
you don't need to get a hot and ready. Go to the gas station and get a slice.
Sometimes those gas station pizzas can be borderline not terrible.
Yep.
They're never great.
Quick Trip is good. Quick Trip is good. Casey's is good.
Wawa came out with a pizza recently. Not very good. No.
Casey's is good. Casey and Quick Trip are great.
7-Eleven, I would say, is maybe like a step below
I would take
Wawa.
anything over Little Caesars.
It's pretty
anything.
Bad. Have you ever been to a CC's?
Yeah,
CC's Pizza Buffet?
We have pizza. Our thing up here is Pizza Ranch. Same thing.
Okay. We have CC's down here. Now, when I first moved down here and I was poor and literally okay, I would go to Jimmy John's, buy the day old bread for $1, cut it in half. Half would be for lunch, half would be for dinner. And I'd just throw some mayo on there. And that would be, but the end of the week, I'd have my one meal and it'd be either the buffet at Golden Corral if I had enough money, or I'd go for the lunch special at the Chinese. It was always going to be a buffet. But I was about to say Little Caesars, but the CC's pizza buffet can sometimes come in very clutch. $7 for all you can eat pizza and breadsticks and a drink, and you could sit there as long as you want. And I made sure I always took full advantage of that, knowing full well that I'm going to feel so horrible before I even walk out the door.
Yep.
Not even just physically, but mentally. I'm going to look at that and say, I cannot believe I just put myself through this, knowing full well what would happen. Why are you you knew this was going, if you put your hand on the hot stove, it burns. Why are you still doing it? But still, I find myself every now and then going there for a $7 meal.
Yep.
And every now and then I get surprised because I'll be like, oh, they're trying something new. There's so much variety that I almost feel bad about trashing CC's because at least they give you the opportunity to taste everything.
Yeah. I feel that same way about any buffets at this point where you know what you're getting into, but it's just you know what? It'll do the job right now. Never doesn't do the job? Chicago style deep dish.
It never does do the job. Exactly.
It does. It never. Shut up.
You just said it never does the job, and I agreed with you. So thanks for making my argument for me, Dylan. This has been a wonderful time arguing
wonderful
pizza.
Episode.
Are
you team shoes or are you team Swoggle? This Friday, make sure to look for the voting.
One time, Dylan, if you get a slice of pizza from any place you've ever been, what is your favorite slice of pizza that you've ever had?
Domino's, Domino's, Pan.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was thinking fast food. No.
Just any place in the world that you've been. You're a world traveler.
Slice of Illuminati's. A quarter of Illuminati's. Yep. Swear.
No.
It's my absolute favorite.
I'm a like I said, DeFara's Pizza in Brooklyn. It's still run by family. That's, to me, it's the best pizza I've ever had. It's not something I would have all the time because I've lived in Queens, so there'd be a little traveling involved and a little bit of a wait on the line. But there was something about having that next echelon of pizza. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Guys, that's going to do it for this week and this episode of A State of Affairs. Make sure to follow us on all forms of social. Twitter/X. Brand new to Facebook. TikTok. Instagram @AffairsPod. Make sure to follow me on all forms of social media @Dylan Postl.
Of course, I'm the Joe Shoes everywhere on social media. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/PodXchange for tons of bonus content. The Car Jomez episode for August is already up for you to listen to. We're talking Deadpool and Wolverine as our main movie this month and tons of other stuff up there all the time. And check out our shop, PodXchange.shop, for all your apparel and merch needs from everyone involved on the PodXchange.
Guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of A State of Affairs. We love it. We love the support. Thank you guys very, very much. I'm Dylan.
I'm Shoes. And this
See ya.
has been the State of Affairs.
I hate it so much.
You knew it had to come.
I know.